Hi there. How nice of you to join me for a second. I am in the process of creating an eldereyes. So this is an 8-eyes, and it's grown from elder branches, which are funny. They are as long as my finger, which is fine because they are fingers, as I call them, around these 8-eyes. And these fingers, when I measured them, I took the width of my hand, cut them off the branch, and then I had them like this, bits of branches, which I then carved so that the bark was gone here. And before I carved off the bark, I learned that it's wiser to do it beforehand. I tied a string tightly around this, and then took a hand drill. Where's the camera? Sorry. I took a hand drill to go and bore out the core of the branch, the elder branch, so that the string would prevent the whole thing from bursting. And after that I carved. But to make a dozeneight-eyes, this is an 8-eyes. A dozeneight-eyes looks like this. So it's a lot more fingers. This has 12 fingers, whereas this one has 2,006, 2.5 fingers, right? So where this is 12, this is 30 fingers, 2.5. And that's a lot of work to create that many bits of branches. But I've almost gotten there. I have one last one to do, and I'm gonna show you how I figured along the way how to carve them, because there's lots of ways of doing stuff, and with that many fingers counting, I had a couple of ways of trying this and that and the other, and I've tried with the drawing knife, which in theory works well. It's just not the best best tuned that I have, because it's quite wide, and I could barely hold on to the branches when I drew the knife, because they were already at their ends, bitter ends, and also when I tried to hold on to them, I often broke them with too much tension by the bench arm. So rather than doing that, I figured this way, and I'm gonna use this one as a let's see if we find a good opening. We're gonna use this one as a tripod. Oh, okay, I broke it. Sure, I didn't mean to, but this one was a little too small. Oh, and it's the other way around. Oh no, everything upside down. Anyways, something like that. Okay. So here is how I figured out along the way how to carve the bark of these branches. And I'm always open for any recommendations. If one knows another way, I'm open for that. I have been doing it this way in the end, with a carving knife, and I made a little protective triangle here because I got a blister on my finger. This helps. Okay, so what I do is I take the knife and carve once around the thing, so that I get down to down to where the wood is, like so. And I can tell you, everyone is different. Some of them are really soft in the bark, others are super tough, and it's a beautiful process of tuning into tree time, I got to say. Like, this is the same kind of thing as growing a tree ship, it's just a much smaller scale. So yeah, I've carved around here, and now I'm gonna do, oh sorry, I'm gonna flatten this out so that it's triangularly a little less. I mean, this isn't really necessary. It's also good to just hold on to the round thing, but it does offer some good grip, I find. Okay, and now I have something to hold on to still, and I'm gonna carve off the other end of the branch here. And as you may tell, I'm not perhaps the strongest of apes around, but I can wiggle my knife a little into the bark and then flip off the chips. Yeah. Making good use of the fibers. And again, this isn't really necessary in the first place. In the case of the size that I'm doing right now, like the scale of what I'm doing, I think the dimensions or the ratio is nicer when I carve them down to the hardwood, rather than having them, you know, thick, so to speak. But if I were to make them bigger in general, you know, it's all a question of how it feels, and this goes just as well with the bark on. That's all I'm saying. I'm almost there. Also, I'm considering, before I tie the dozeneighteyes, which I'm gonna show you, I think this time around I'm actually going to treat the branches with linseed oil, which I always love doing with every bit of wood, but you know, I'm kind of I am not patient enough oftentimes to do every step along the way, do the oiling, because I can't wait for tying together the structure usually, and that excitement really, you know. Oh, that wasn't good. That excitement isn't necessarily helping. Oh yeah, I'm carving the one end of the finger, because every finger points two ways. But I'm carving the sawed off end somewhat rounder, so that once I tie together the structure, it goes together nicely. Okay, so that's one end good, and the other one still has the triangle on it, which I'm now going to take off. But without that there, it's really quite difficult to hold on to this along the way, because these pieces are so short, relatively speaking. It's kind of like, you know, tying a knot with a line that is just a little too short, and one just has to go, you know, if I take my measurements too precisely, and then I'll take only that much string, I'm gonna end up tying the last bit of knot on the bitter ends, which is actually the proper term for the end of a line. And I think it says a lot. You know, lots of people may have come to the bitter end on untying their knots at some point. I certainly have. And one just tries so hard, but it's no good. Alright, so I can round off the other end now. Oh, by the way, I broke my drill trying to drill these out. So in the end I had to use the drill bit, the broken piece, with a power tool, with a battery driven drill, I don't know, machine, which went quicker but also wasn't as nice, and it's kind of sad that I broke the drill. I don't think I can get them again. Seems like. But that's how it goes. They come and they go. And this is another finger drum. And with this, I'll stop the video here. I'll probably oil these, and I will do another video where I show how to draw the dozeneighteyes with these, because I think that the one time we recorded the tutorial on that, we accidentally lost the footage. Really quite a pity. But that was that. Now I have all my fingers ready and accounted for. And the next bit after the oiling, which is also nice, you know, it's a bit of a magic to put the linseed oil on the wood, and it just comes to life in a whole different way. Although this is already beautiful as it is. That's the thing, I just love this material, elder tree. So this is perhaps not the elder wand out of the deathly hallows, but these are lively hallows, and they are the elder branches growing elder eyes, and I'm looking forward to look through those new elder eyes into yours. So have a good time until then. Take care.